I almost did it again. Yeah. What's up, boys?
What's up? What's going on?
What's going on? Welcome to Milford Radio, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Today is July 28th. We took last week off. We just, it was that time. We had Heiza on vacation celebrating anniversary. I had an anniversary. Zeke had an anniversary. So we're all anniversaried out. But yeah, thank you for joining us, guys. Please like our Facebook page and our YouTube page. It's an easy way to find out when we have new shows, who we're having on the show, all of that fun stuff. And tonight we have a really good show for you. Last show was not last week, the week before. We had Dr. Anna Kataya on the show. There's a lot going on, boys, as far as schools coming back. You see the governors on TV all the time. I said it on the show, and I still believe it. She probably has one of the worst jobs, all superintendents, right now leading up to the fall. Any thoughts on what's going on here?
Heiza?
Honestly, guys, I've set my head in the sand with a lot of things because I just can't take it anymore. But yes, I agree. She has a tough job, and things are changing all around us. And when we get that final okay, when to get the kids on the bus, my kids will be first in line.
Zeke, you were there on the show with Dr. Kataya. She went through some of the conversations. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, as we all know, that's the biggest thing that we're trying to figure out is how to get children back to school safely. And obviously they have a plan, a lot of different plans going on. And it's good to see that they're organized. They have options. They're thinking about, how to use each facility to its fullest. And also, like we brought up with her, we said, hey, this isn't just like a turnkey solution. We might probably have to be mobile with this. And they said, they're still working on all the overall like A, B, and C plans. But I think it's going to be done in a manner where everyone's as safe as they can be.
In that bottom line, let's put Caden's consistently watching the show, which is nice to see. But regardless, I mean, the bottom line is about safety, right? So if I guess it's stemming from the governor who's telling all of these districts, like, hey, you have to submit a plan for A and B. A is you're going to school 5 days a week, and B is some sort of hybrid thing. The towns have all done it, and now I think last I saw from Governor Lamont was it's going to be up to each district to make their own decision on using A or B, which was previously approved by the state. So we'll see. I don't know. It's crazy. I would not want to be making that decision, but whatever. We always want to hear from you. Chat with us, or you can video into the show right now or after our guest. I posted the link there. But like us on Facebook and YouTube. And like I said before, it'll let you know when we're going live and who we have on the show. So I just wanted to, Heiza, happy anniversary, first of all, to you and Elizabeth.
Thank you. You as well, Mark. And
thank you.
Yeah. Happy anniversary to Mark. Happy anniversary to Heiza. Yeah, today is my work anniversary.
It is 6 years at the Two Roads, right?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
I've actually been there 7 years, but 6 years in sales. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. The first year was just like massages at Two Roads.
Yeah, in Little Heaven.
I just wanted to give you guys a quick inside look at my anniversary night, and I did not approve this by Sarah to talk about it, but it was kind of funny. So Sarah and I went to dinner for our anniversary, 17 years of marriage, which is crazy.
I remember the wedding.
It was a fun wedding from what I remember.
McGillicuddy.
So we went
on the bus.
Yes, it was McGillicuddy, and we ran out of it. And then we got stuck in traffic, and we're all like, yeah! So we went to Shell and Bones on Saturday night, and it was a great job. The restaurant was great. It was packed. So as we were having dinner, and Shell and Bones, nice nice restaurant, very great food, great drinks. And we had our appetizers, we had a couple drinks, we had our dinner. And then right after dinner, Sarah made a move to go take a selfie with her and I at the table because we were sitting right on the water. And as she made that move, her entire purse fell into the Long Island Sound and ended up floating down the Sound towards the marina.
Oh my God.
That's how my anniversary ended.
What?
It was a memorable anniversary. We had a great time. The end of the night was spent canceling credit cards and reordering debit cards and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mark, if it was your first date and not 17 years in, would you dive in after that? Come on.
No,
that's a good question, Isa.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question because I would have been young and dumb, meaning like I would have.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't even think about it. You know, I didn't. I was just like, I hope someone else could jump in there, or we're really hoping that someone had a big. Yes.
With experience comes wisdom, right?
Yes.
That's
yes.
good for you.
Last time I jumped in the water with you crazy guys, I got it was the Gulf Street Bridge, and I got stung by a jellyfish.
It's all right. We just had to pee on you. That's all. It's got.
That's right. That was Mr. Cap's suggestion. That and some sort of rub. I forgot what it was. It was like meat sauce or something.
Meat tenderizer.
Meat tenderizer. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. So we found a interesting map, and I'll put it up here. This is a detailed map of who is wearing a mask in the United States. And you can see the darker the color, which in the Connecticut area, if you don't know where Connecticut is dark red. Yes, that's like the most, like 80 to 100% of the people wearing masks. I would say we're in that 80%. But look at the majority of, the Midwest, the middle of the country, is not wearing a mask at all. And
that's crazy.
This is from the New York Times.
Is it based on population? Because what you showed me is the most populous parts of the country. So is it just number of masks being worn, or is it per? How do they keep track? No one lives in Montana.
all 5 people wearing masks and 5 random encounters. That's what it is.
All right, we could poke holes at it. Yeah, I'm glad they're all wearing their masks though. But I want to know who the guy is walking around every 5 people, marking it down in his notebook.
I do have to say though, if you do go around in the area, I do see a lot of people wearing masks everywhere in Connecticut anyway. But
and that's why our state is doing much better than some other states, I would think. A state like Florida, they did spike and everything, but I'm not saying it's not their fault, but they do have a ton of beautiful beaches. It's summertime, and they have a large population of younger people who are just not going to, no matter what you tell them to do, they're not going to do it. I mean, I have a teenager. I tell him not to do something, he's probably going to do it. So, whatever. That's the second time I've said that. Whatever. So we had a couple losses in our city. One of the big ones that everyone knows about is the beachcomber. And if you're a Milford, if you grew up in Milford or you've been here, for the last couple of years, the beachcomber is like it's a church here in Milford. People have been going there forever and having good times. And I mean, when they stopped the rule of smoking indoors, beachcomber didn't give a crap. You smoke indoors, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Once they got rid of the shuffleboard there, downhill.
Yeah. Or hopping on the seats.
They played there.
They did.
It was like when they tore the Capitol down. They preserved part of the Capitol. It has the marquee out right near Cafe Atlantique. I wonder if there's anything from the Beachcomber that we could save. Like the bar is pretty unique. I wonder if somebody could buy that bar and put it into their restaurant in memoriam of the Beachcomber.
Right, that would be cool. I would put it in my basement, or it's just a section of it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be real cool.
That might be COVID central, that bar.
That's all right. You just leave it in the garage for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Imagine how many beers were drank in that bar.
Oh man.
I don't know the answer to it, but I don't even know when it opened. I don't know how old the Beachcomber is, and if it was a bar before that, I don't know.
Definitely, I would think in the 60s.
Yeah.
60s,
well, speaking,
70s. I know people have been going there forever.
Well, Howe's Drugstore just announced that they're closing, and that store was open for 100 years.
Wow.
You know that?
100 years.
Do you remember when it opened, Zeke?
I do now. I know that.
I did. I used to get my prescriptions there when I was 10.
That's when lollipops are called suckers. Zeke was there all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So 100 years. Actually, Heidi Voigt, who's on NBC Connecticut and a Milfordite, she reported on this in a Facebook post. She said, "It's been one of the most iconic facades on the green, the last independently owned pharmacy in the city of Milford. But as of today, Howe's Drug remains joins the Beachcomber and Sisters Park Lane Deli on the list of local businesses to close amid the pandemic. A sign on the front door says customer prescriptions have been transferred to CVS." So it's kind of sad. In that, we learned also that Park Lane Deli, and I actually learned it today because my office is on the green. So I typically get my lunch from Park Lane and some other establishments around here. I went to their website today, and the website's down. This is Park Lane down.
Wow.
And then I went on Google. It said it's closed. I didn't even realize that. I was just looking for like a roast beef sandwich. I was starving at like 1:30. But yeah, that's out too. That's out. So that's unfortunate. You know, it could be COVID. A lot of it is COVID related. I'm sure the deli. One story that I did see that was interesting too was Costa Azura. Now, I remember when Benny passed away, the original owner, there was no interest of the kids taking that business over. And there was rumor, and I thought it was fact, that a caterer, and I think we talked about this on the show, a catering company from up north a little bit here in Connecticut, was going to buy it and turn it into a big place, almost like the Devon version of like Stonebridge type thing. But the article that I just read says the Faustini family, Livio, is seeking approval from planning and zoning to put in. Basically, they're proposing to raise the existing 12,000 square foot building footprint, construct a 2-story building, and then putting on an over 2,000 square foot patio.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's no better location in the city of Milford for a restaurant than Costa Azura.
Yeah, it would be the only waterfront dining literally in the whole city.
Yeah, you have the closest thing would be what's the flip side, right? But that's you can see the water, but it's also like, you know, the boats.
Harbor.
Yeah. Harbor. There you go. That's the word. Whatever.
Whatever.
All right, let's get to our guest. I see him in the green room. He just finished his hair and makeup, and you'll see why we're talking about the hair in just a second. But our guest tonight is what you call an essential worker. He's part of the department that is running into buildings that most of us are running out of. He's the battalion chief of training for the city of Milford Fire Department, Mr. Chris Zach. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, Mark. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing excellent.
Chris, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's we've had a lot of the city departments on, and we're really excited to have the fire department on with us too. So I guess let's jump in and ask more of a personal question. How long have you been with Milford Fire?
So I've been with the fire department since 1990. So looking at 30 years now. Started as a young individual, became a fireman. I was already a paramedic when I came on the department. Went through the ranks, and currently, as you said, I am a battalion chief with the fire department. I am the chief of safety training and support services. And part of that goal and job tasks are public information. Hence, we're here tonight.
Yeah,
cool.
That's awesome. So because public information you just talked about, let's jump into COVID, I guess. I tell us about, well, actually, let's take a step back for a second. Milford Fire Department is I don't want to say a step above a lot of other fire departments in the area, but you guys are, and I don't know the right verbiage for it, but you're a class above most fire departments in the state. Is that correct?
So we are kind of unique. You look at our landscape, our geography, and we'll talk about that later. That's definitely a unique thing about Milford and the city of Milford. But the Milford Fire Department is a Class 1 ISO insurance services organization rated fire department. So they rate fire departments, the insurance industry, from 1 being the best to 10 being no protection at all. And we have a 1 rating, and we've had that rating for about 10 years now. So we're extremely proud of that.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So I'm assuming that's. Go ahead, Isaac.
I was going to say, so everyone in Milford has you guys to thank for a little lesser homeowners insurance.
Yeah,
Premium.
So it does.
It
affects the private individuals. It also affects, commercial industries. So the big businesses that are coming in, they save a huge amount of money. And it's because we have a good dispatch center, a good water supply, and we have the personnel and the apparatus and the equipment to back it up when the call doesn't sound.
Awesome.
Sure. That's great. That's great. Yeah, I've heard a word used to talk about bad fire departments. That would be like basement savers or something like that, right?
Yeah, you know what? We're all professional, whether it's career, whether it's volunteer. We're all professional fire departments, professional individuals, and we all do the same job. And it doesn't matter if it's the Orange Fire Department, the Milford Fire Department, or Stratford. The men and the women of the fire departments are extremely, extremely dedicated to doing our job. You asked me about, how do we compare to other cities and towns? If you look at our mission statement, it basically says we protect life, property, and the environment for our citizens and also our neighbors. And I like to say we just do more than fight fires. You look back into our mission statement, we do emergency medical calls, which we'll talk about COVID. But we also do water rescues, building collapses, car wrecks, hazardous materials calls. We live on the shoreline, so we have a huge amount of coastal storms, whether it be a hurricane, a nor'easter, or a winter storm. Mm-hmm. And, the job of a firefighter now is like a master of all trades, where we try to mitigate everything.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Wow.
So speaking of that, before we jump into COVID, because we just had, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, you had another water rescue. And that's something I don't think a lot of people understand, that, when something goes wrong out in our waters here, and we have the largest coastline in the state of Connecticut, it's you guys. It's the Milford Fire Department going out there. And it just happened yesterday, right?
Yeah, so yesterday we received a call around 7 o'clock or so for an individual that was in distress. So everybody knows Charles Island. Everybody thinks that there's a sandbar going out to Charles Island, but it's actually called the Tumbolo. And that means that's Latin for a mound. So the shore actually connects to the island. And because of that island, when the tides move in and out, it creates extremely difficult currents. And those currents sweep swimmers who think they're in good shape and can swim well, sweeps them out, and the powerful current does not let them back in. So we were originally called for 1 person in the water. And more often than not, we get there and it's several people in the water trying to rescue other people. But our Marine units ended up saving 4 individuals off of that area yesterday. Wow. And kind of unique. We have a unique thing, a tiered response for this. So we send a tremendous amount of personnel and apparatus to a water rescue, because if you think about it, time is critical. Mm-hmm. We don't have 8 minutes, 10 minutes to get a boat into the water and move things. So our tiered response is we have 3 Marine vessels: Marine 1, Marine 2, and Marine 3. Marine 1 is a 27-foot fireboat. Marine 2 is a 19-foot inflatable boat. And the unique thing is Marine 3 is a jet ski.
Oh,
so
cool.
The jet ski is located at at the Silver Sand or Walnut Beach. They end up coming in, a fire company, usually Quint 3 or Engine 4. They'll respond there, and 2 individuals will go out, and their sole purpose is to get the individual positive buoyancy. Here's a life jacket. Buy you some time. And because this usually occurs at a low tide, then the big fireboat is too large to get into there with the draft. Right. So the smaller fireboat will get in there, will make the transfer, and then they'll bring him to Marine 1, the 27-foot boat, where we'll have a fire department paramedic evaluate the individual. And if need be, we transport to Trumbull Avenue by the Yacht Club, where an ambulance will be waiting to transport that patient to the hospital if need be. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah. And we talk about the rescues at Charles Island, but it's just not there. It's bad weather with boats. It's the fishermen that go off. It's the windsurfers that go out on a windy day. So very challenging rescues. We put a lot of apparatus, a lot of personnel into the scene very quickly. And last year, I believe we saved 40 individuals from that area from water rescues. So very unique. The Charles Island, if you talk to an individual in the Coast Guard, they know where Charles Island is.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense. That's unbelievable. And that I would assume is taking manpower off the land, right? Is it active firemen in a firehouse that are jumping to go do those rescues?
Absolutely, Mark. So the way we have our boats, we're trained as either coxswains, helmsmen, or deckhands. So individuals that are coxswains are the individuals that drive the boats, experienced boat drivers, and we'll have individuals spaced throughout where the area is. So somebody will respond. So a typical response, a water rescue matrix response for the fire department is a battalion chief who will respond, and he'll be the incident commander, the guy in charge. We'll send an engine company, the closest engine company, to make contact with the person that called in, because usually that person will be able to, hey, the person's over there, or I saw the individual, something along that lines. And then we'll send Marine 1 with a paramedic on board. So that's usually 4 to 5 individuals. Marine 2 will go out with 2 or 3 individuals, the jet ski with 2 individuals. So it's very apparatus intensive and very labor intensive.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure most people listening had no idea that maybe they knew that you guys took care of rescuing people, but the amount of resources and time and commitment that you guys are putting in to just the water side, and we're not even talking about what's going on the ground now. And then you throw that knuckleball and COVID hits, right? One day everything's fine, the world's operating normal, and then this pandemic hits, and you and your team are the individuals that are getting those 911 calls saying, hey, my mom is having a tough time breathing, this person, and all COVID related. How, first of all, you probably couldn't prepare for it because it kind of hit us all, like a sucker punch. But take us through what that looks like from a COVID situation with the fire department.
Well, Mark, our job is to prepare for the unexpected. So, were we ready for this? Yes, we were. Did we realize the extent that it was going to happen? No, we didn't. So back in February, because we're looking at social media, we're looking at newscasts, we're looking at information from the health department. We started to identify, towards the end of February of, hey, something is going to happen. Fortunately for us, we had stockpiled some of our PPE, our protective clothing that we wear, because of hazardous materials response calls, so chemical leaks, things like that. And a lot of the stuff that we had was post 9/11, where we had received equipment from federal funds. So we had initially of that stuff. Looking into March, in the middle of March, that's really when it hit us. We, because of call volume, we upstaffed additional apparatus, different people. We had the paramedics, the individuals that were responding. So in Milford, everybody's trained as an emergency medical technician. So if you're having a heart attack, you're having problems breathing, or you get hit by a car, you'll get the closest fire truck. And that fire truck is emergency medical technician at a minimum. And we also have 30 individuals that are paramedics in the department. So they will come out, and that's basically like bringing the emergency room and the doctors to the scene. The paramedics can do heart cardio shocks. We can do intravenous lines. They can administer medicine. So these guys really, really do make a difference. And they were, like you said, they were the frontline workers. So, I heard you guys talking before about people putting masks on, and, there's been some resistance throughout the country. These people, and I'll say, because we have females, we have males on the fire department, our people, our team were in basically like a winter non-breathable suit from March till just a couple weeks ago. We were treating all calls. So they would get dressed up. They would have a Tyvek suit on. They would have 2 pairs of gloves on. They would have an N95 mask. They would have goggles on and sometimes a face shield depending on what they were doing. And from the time of the call of putting that on and we transport, so we bring them to the hospital, and it's an hour plus time in that suit. And then after the guys came back, we would decontaminate them. So we would take off their dirty gear. We would start cleaning the back of the ambulances, and those individuals would shower after every call. So they ended up, it was actually kind of, some of the people started doing tally marks on how many showers they actually took. So there were some individuals that were over 100 showers. So you take our 24-hour shift, which we work, and individuals were showering 6, 7, 8 times, changing their clothes each time. Because remember, our mission statement goes back to protecting life. We did not want to have the virus on us from our dirty gear, give it to someone that did not have the virus. That was our main focus and our main vision. And that was why we did such elaborate kind of procedures to keep everybody safe. Fortunately for us, we had one individual very early on that tested positive for COVID. He's fine. He's back to work. He's healthy. Thank God.
So you out of that whole time, out of this whole time, it's been several months, you've had one firefighter test positive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had some individuals that needed to self-quarantine, did get some testing, and were negative. So one firefighter we have 114 individuals in the fire department, one firefighter tested positive. So
that's amazing.
It's amazing, and it tells about the dedication and the commitment to the individuals, the sacrifice that these guys and girls made, but also, the support of Chief Ito, the fire department, Deepa Joseph with the health department. They were fantastic, and we really worked together as a team in the city.
I think there's something to be said for you. So your team, the fire department is dealing with people who are sick constantly. So, and you had one firefighter that got it, yet there's people walking this planet, walking Milford, Connecticut, without face masks on.
Yeah.
Just getting COVID, from touching something, or I don't know. It just blows my mind that you guys are actually dealing with a virus and not getting it, yet we could walk around and get it because we're just not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. If you look at 2019, we did over 8,100, and I think it's 8,146 calls. So emergency calls, we did over 8,000 calls. And we looked a little while ago, and we're at pace to beat that number. And because of COVID, in my 30 years of experience with the fire department, I have never seen the amount of call volume that we were doing during that peak time of, the COVID problem in Connecticut, and the amount of sick people that we're seeing.
And you can't do what kind of, PD, the Milford Police Department and police departments around the country basically pulled back. We're not going to pull people over as much. We're not going to do certain things unless basically you're dying. But you're in a different role, especially that you're EMTs. Like you have to roll. Yeah, you call 911. We don't get the option. We're like, you know what? We're having lunch, or we're doing something, or it's Sunday, it's a holiday. Yeah, you call. We're out the door in 90 seconds.
Wow, that's awesome.
So how has COVID changed fire departments forever? I mean, I'm sure almost every industry out there, this pandemic has changed processes, people. How about for the Milford Fire Department? I think it's going to be a positive change. The way we look at our procedures now, the individuals, I don't see. Prior to COVID, we would wear our gloves. We would sometimes wear some goggles. If we were doing some evasive airway maneuvers, we would, protect our with a mask. Now, and going forward, I always see the individuals wearing a mask and wearing gloves and taking, that precaution, because we don't know when the next wave is going to hit. We don't know what the next problem is going to be. And we always focus on the safety of the firefighters, because don't forget, these guys and girls are working, and many of them are coming home, and they have to deal with their families. We had individuals that, moved into some, houses that were vacant. We had some individuals living in trailers.
that didn't go home because we were concerned at the beginning of giving it to our families. I mean, my family's been fantastic. We were working extremely a lot, and every time I would come home, and a lot of times because of shifts, we would eat, do some stuff, go to bed for a little bit, back up and work the next day.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change the way we do EMS calls. But on a positive note, when we did COVID, we had, you said the PD kind of stopped doing stuff. Well, we focused so much on our COVID response. A lot of times we weren't able to do the firefighter training that we needed to do. So that took like a back seat. We couldn't get our big groups together. We didn't want to get, 15, 16 guys together and do training, which we normally do. I think with the COVID and moving forward, it will allow us a lot of opportunities for video conferencing, doing training different ways, keeping things different and changing things up.
Right.
So
that makes sense. Go ahead,
So,
were you gonna say something?
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I know last year you said you did 8,100 calls. Out of those 8,100, what was the most common call that you would go on? And then how about now, like even with COVID, how many of the calls you go on now are COVID related?
Okay. So, Dan, the 8,100, 65% of those calls are EMS calls. So emergency medical service calls, the problems breathing, the chest pains, the reactions, the overdose, things along that line. So 65% is our most common call. And then we roll in our building fires, our car wrecks, things of that nature. Most typically, the individuals are going out and making a difference every day with those emergency medical calls and then transporting the individuals to the hospital. So that's the makeup of our call. Now with COVID, one of the big things our dispatchers do, we started at the beginning, was screen individuals. Have you traveled outside? Do you have any signs and symptoms? Are you running a fever? Those are the key things. So if a patient calls up and having problems breathing and has a fever, the individuals are taking more of a precaution. So they're getting up dressed in the full suit. They're going into the calls, making it work. I would say right now, I mean, we were doing probably in the upwards of 20 decons a day of calls and moving people around. And now we're probably doing 2 a day.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So big difference.
Huge
And,
difference,
yeah. We're limiting the spread here, and we've taken this downtime to prepare for next. So we've stockpiled PPE. We're updating our SOPs and our procedures. We're looking to see what did we do maybe not so good last time and what can we improve on.
That's amazing.
Wow. Chris, first of all, thank you to yourself and to your team and your families.
Oh, thank you.
Because we wouldn't have the great community that we have if we weren't protected by people in your career and just well trained, and it's amazing to hear. What as a community can the average person do to kind of help out, whether it's donations or resources or just not being stupid? How could we avoid those 8,100 calls and 60, of having you come out for things that probably could have been avoided?
Yeah, you know what? We always say job security and stuff like that. We'll always have individuals.
We're always going to
have problems. There is no, I'll say, senseless call. Because, Chris, what you may think is a nothing call is to the individual calling, it's the most dire emergency that they have, and they need it. So whether it's, sometimes whether it's the dog stuck underneath the deck that the homeowner can't get out, or if it's the elderly lady that fell on the floor and she just can't get up. And sometimes we do go out and the guys will get there and the individual will be like, I can't get my remote control. One of our core values is customer service, and that's what we're here for. Like I said in the beginning, when you call, we ask what's the problem, we ask where you are, and if it's on fire, we tell you to get out of the building. That's all we ask. We don't ask age or race or religion or anything like that. We're there. And fortunately for us, our firehouses are spaced. We're in there around 6 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes.
That's great. It takes a special person because me showing up to that, and there's a guy's remote control that fell under his couch and he can't reach it. I'm going to handle that much differently than Chris Zach. I can already tell just based on personalities. So it does take a special person to be a fireman.
Our team members are 100%. They're amazing individuals. They're totally dedicated. They do the job. I may not hear them complain all the time. I'm sure they do, but they always show up to work ready to go, and they're ready for anything. You throw anything at them, and they're like, "Hey, let's do this."
It's true. Well, I mean, the friends I have
to have you guys.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you very much.
The friends that I have that are firemen, whether it's Milford or outside, especially, my friends here in Milford Fire, they are special people. Just like I said, like I know I wouldn't be able to do that. They're special individuals who really do care about other people. That's why the three of us are eliminated from that. But you guys do a tremendous job. So let's wrap this up because we've been taking a lot of your time. Give us something. I know you guys do a tremendous amount for the community, not even just your jobs, which is another amazing thing that you guys do this to protect the community, but you also give back and a lot of donation type stuff. But give us a sense of that. And then if there's anything out there that maybe the community might not know about what you guys do, or you have any messages to kind of wrap us up.
Yeah, Mark, I really love that you asked this question and stuff like that. It's really, really important because, we're servants to the citizens of Milford. I mean, we love to give back. I have to give all the credit to the Milford Professional Firefighters Association, Local 944, our union brothers and sisters. And I have to give a lot of credit to Chief Ito. It's without their dedication and commitment to the programs and the department and the community. It's looking being on the inside and seeing what happens. It really is amazing. And I feel so lucky to be involved in this organization, both on the union side and also on the fire department side, because the commitment is just amazing. If you look at what we do as far as give back, there's a lot of them. We do Fill the Boot for MDA. We try to do that once a year. We do a hot dog giveaway at Fowler Field when they have the band concerts. Probably won't happen this year.
Yeah, when they did.
That we hand out hot dogs. We do fundraisers for local charities. We do golf charity events. We do a lot of stuff for the Bridgeport Hospital Burn Center. One of the individuals does a 5K race for James Mattioli, who's killed in Sandy Hook.
I've run that. That's great.
Yeah. But the most important thing for, I believe, our union, our department, and our community is the Toys for Tots program. So starting in December, it's like the North Pole at firehouses. Toys are getting dropped off. Individuals are doing toy pickups. We're going to the stations. We're picking up from different events. And then that last week in December, we have people that show up to hand out the toys and the presents to the families. No questions asked. All we do is verify that you're a Milford resident. And not only do we have the firefighters showing up, but we have their families showing up. So, me being involved in a program for 30 years, I've seen some of these kids from the time they were born. And now, like, my daughters have been involved probably since they were 8 years old. And my oldest right now is 21.
That's awesome.
That's probably about the biggest give back that we do.
And that's and Zeke, I know you have a question, but really quick, we started this show, Chris, 10 years ago, and we did it. We ran it for a couple years, and actually that was one of our favorite shows. We used to have Jason Hall. I don't know if he's still a firefighter.
Retired. Jason's okay. Yeah. Jason Finkoff and Doug Hannigan run it now.
Yeah. Okay. So Jason used to come on our show. We used to broadcast our show live from Cafe Atlantique. We'd have, your Toys for Tot box there, and we'd have Santa Claus there. And it was just so awesome. And it was the amount of work that the fire department put together in helping us too, or us helping you guys. It was awesome. And that was one of our favorite shows.
Mark, one of the things I do want to mention, so during the time of the pandemic and when, COVID was active and we had a lot of shutdowns and social distancing, we had a lot of requests for drive-by, for a fire truck to drive by, for some type of celebrations, birthdays. and surrounding communities were doing it. The police department was doing it. I just want to right now just let everybody know we were so busy, we could not take an apparatus away from doing the calls to go do the parades.
Sure.
So hopefully soon things will be back to normal. We're going to open up our doors to the firehouse, invite the public in, do it all over again.
That's awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
Zeke, you had one more before we let Chris go.
Yeah, so every year, obviously we're not having it this year, but the Oyster Festival is usually in August, and the fire department always has like a really strong presence, out near Stonebridge, holding the boo and the guys with their shirts off and everything. I was wondering if you ever had the opportunity to show off those guns,
So that's one of our charity events. Most of the time the money will sometimes go to the burn center. This time we split some of the money. We had some families in the Milford Fire Department that were affected by cancer, so we donated some of the money to that. Our union brothers and sisters work a lot hard with that program, do a great job. And Zeke, in my younger days, I might have been up on that dunk tank.
That's a rookie job. That's a rookie job. Coming in nice and young. Job. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We just had someone just posted in Edwin Augusto. Will the Milford Fire Department be hiring soon? It seems like you guys, you do hire quite often.
We do hire quite often. You look at it now, we have a large rotation. We don't have an active list right now. It's something that we're trying to look into and see what we need to do. You have to be an EMT to be in the Milford Fire Department. You have to pass what's called a CPAP test with the Connecticut Fire Academy. So it's a physical agility test. And then you pass our physical agility test. Social media will post when we do have openings in hiring. We'll establish a list, and that list is usually good for 2 years. Currently, right now, everybody on the list that we had was hired. We still do have some openings. So maybe within the next year or so, we will be running a test.
That's awesome. Well, Chris, this was a great interview. I actually learned quite a bit, especially the water safety stuff, and then how crazy you guys were during the pandemic. But if you have any last second things you want to say, if not, we're gonna let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So just one thing, it is really important if you look at what can save a life in your own family. Smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, so important. We go on numerous calls where they don't have functioning smoke detectors. The smoke detector could be there's no battery in it, or it's taken down because every time someone cooks something, it goes off. It's so important. Have smoke detectors up near your bedrooms, have them in the kitchen areas, have them on all levels. And then the carbon monoxide, you can't see it, and it's a deadly killer, especially as we're starting to get into, the soon after this heat wave, the furnaces will be running and stuff like that, and we'll be able to produce that carbon monoxide. So if anything, working smoke detectors, working carbon monoxide detectors.
Great. That's an awesome message. You're
Mark,
right.
Really quick,
go ahead.
Follow us on social media. So we have a Facebook page, Milford Connecticut Fire. We have Instagram and Twitter, Milford Fire EMS. Follow us, send us questions. We try to post something operational on Wednesdays. We're going to start doing a throwback Thursday, so you see some old school fire department stuff.
Nice.
Is actually I found a newspaper article from 1931, and the weekly pay for the fire chief was $45.08. So,
that sounds like now.
Yep. And then on Friday, we'll be doing some type of safety message. This Friday, I'm going to be doing a minute with the mayor down at Silver Sands and talking about the problems with Charles Island.
That's great.
Awesome.
Well, you guys are so 2020 now. It's awesome. Follow the fire department. Chris, Zach, thank you so much for joining us from the Milford Fire Department. We appreciate it, Chris.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you again.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Woo! All right. That was a lot of information. That might have been one of our longest interviews. That was good. The questions just kept coming. Yeah. You guys were both what are those called? Lifeguards.
Lifeguards?
Oh, You guys are both lifeguards.
Yeah,
Did you ever have to work with fire?
We were the fifth, maybe the fifth or the 15th person they would call if the fire department couldn't get there. In that rank.
I don't know if Heiser was ever asked, but I remember that sometimes through the rec department, we would be asked to go down to the Foreign High School pool and be the lifeguards for the water training for the firefighters.
Yeah.
And I think Milford, and we could have asked this, but I think Milford is one of the only cities left that actually has a swimming requirement for their firemen. And it was like swim a certain amount of yards nonstop.
It was tough for a lot of guys, really tough. Yeah.
And you'd be surprised, like you're sitting there and you're like, you actually would almost have to go in to get these guys, you know? And here I am. At that time, I was 5'7" and a little skinnier. And then you have these big, huge firemen in there, and you're like, man, I hope I can get that guy if I need to, you know?
That's funny. Really interesting.
There were a few times too, working down at Walnut Beach, that we had our own inflatable Zodiac with a 15 horsepower engine on the back of it. And Silver Sands didn't have guards at the time because the state had just taken over. So that became our role to run out to the island if we saw people still out there with the tide coming in already. So we would have to go. And there's probably half a dozen times we had to go out, throw them in the boat, and bring them back to shore.
Yeah. Wow. So Chris just posted, he said the swimming requirement is swim 4 lengths of the pool and then tread water for 10 minutes without touching the side.
Another reason I can't be a fireman. There's no way. I would probably slap certain people that lost their remote control under their couch, and then I can't do any of that swimming stuff.
Yeah.
I need to be in a pool where I can put my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
That's it. Really interesting stuff. The amount of work that goes into, and I think he said there was like 40 people rescued last year just in that Charles Island area. And that probably that fluctuates all the time, but it's just amazing. It's kind of like the police department saying, hey, at night, lock your car doors, or at any time, lock your car door and your car might not get stolen. It's kind of like, don't go out to Charles Island, especially at midnight with no lights and the tide's coming in. Like there's just certain things that you should know, especially if you're from Milford. If you're from here and that happens, that's a little bit less unacceptable.
I don't think everyone thinks too of, all right, so all the activity they have in the water, and we have a stretch of 95 that's probably one of the most deadliest.
Yeah.
Cutting through, and there is no state fire department. There's no staties that come down for any kind of accidents or whatever. It's to the municipality that the highway runs through, right?
Right.
So they're responsible to hop on that Korsky Bridge when there's always an accident, or through 95 or by the mall. So they easily could be spread very thin in an instant. So it's good to know that we have the right people in place and resources for them to use and training and everything else. Right.
So it was a really good interview. I was super excited that Chris Zach from the Milford Fire Department was able to join us. So he actually just left the green room. So if there's anything negative you guys want to talk about, we could say it now. No, we're good.
Sounded like a great guy.
Yeah, no, he did. Very prepared, knew his stuff. That was really good. So we'll do a quick shout out for Mr. Fiore, since he's blowing up Facebook with a lot of different comments. Yeah. But there's an emergency blood drive coming up. It's going to take place on Friday, August 14th of this year from 12 to 6. They need 77 to be registered before, and you have to register before July 31st. If your Red Cross donor card is over 2 years old, just call and have a new one sent to you. You go to redcrossblood.org to register. So there's the shout out. Yes. So donate your blood. That's it. Bobby. So there's 2 golf tournaments coming up, Bobby. 2 golf tournaments coming up. The United Way has theirs on September 25th. It's at Grassy Hill. It's called the Golf for a Cause. I've played that tournament multiple times. It's a great time. Check out the details at the unitedwayofmilford.org. And then the second one is for the Boys and Girls Club of Milford. It's holding a golf tournament as well. It's also at Grassy Hill. It's on August 10th, so that one's coming up sooner. You can check that out at Boys and Girls Club of Milford.com/golf. And they actually have a hole-in-one contest for, if you get a hole-in-one, you win $50,000.
What?
It's pretty good. I play a decent amount of golf, or at least I try to. I've never seen one, and I don't think I've been on the course when one has been hit. And I've been playing for probably 20 years, 30 years.
I've gotten one free drink because I was on the course when one went down. But
Really?
I've never actually seen it.
Yeah.
I saw one. It was on the short par 3 at the Orchards. I didn't see it actually, but I was playing with Pat Austin, and Pat hit this ball, and you know, like when you see it going at the pin, you're like, that's in. It's going in. It literally hit the flag, went in the cup, and then popped out.
Oh.
And that's the closest I've seen.
What happens if you get a hole-in-one at the Orchards? There's no bar there. Do you have to go somewhere and buy everyone at that bar drinks?
Everyone gets free water.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Pick
right.
a snack of your choice.
Peanut butter crackers.
That's it. That's it. Did you guys, one of you guys see the Britton Broach award?
The scholarship.
Yeah. Do you have that info?
Yeah. So a young gentleman, a foreign high school senior by the name of Malcolm Chavez, was recently awarded the 2020 Brayton John Broach Memorial Scholarship to support his studies. He's moving on to the University of New Haven, the Chargers. Chavez has been accepted into a combined BS/MS mechanical engineering degree program in UNH. So he's probably good at math. He probably has a good head for math, and probably got a lot higher on the SATs than either of us.
Yeah.
Scholarship is awarded each year in memory of Milford resident and foreign grad, actually, gentleman that Mark and I graduated with, Brayton Broach, who died suddenly in 2003 at the age of 25. The award was presented to Malcolm by James Broach, Brayton's father.
Yeah.
So that's a great win for Malcolm. I'm sure well deserved, and put in all the time and effort in the studies that probably neither any of us on the panel here would have put forth. So good for him, and good luck moving on.
Congrats, Malcolm.
Yeah, that was a sad. Britton was like Heiza just said. Chris and I went to school with him. We've known him for several years, and then it was super sad when he passed, and it was a brain aneurysm. I'm pretty sure when he was, I think, visiting his brother out in California. So that was like that. There was a few deaths when I was younger that like really hit me, and that was really one of them. It was sad, but the family has really made some awesome positive things out of it. Like they used to have the Britton Broach wiffle ball tournament. They did that for several years out of Florida. Yeah, and they would raise a ton of money and then give that away. So it's good to see that the family's still doing this. It's been some time since Britton has passed, but it's really great to see. I saw this comment. Jamie Wieselman just wrote, "This is the year to get a hole-in-one because the bars are closed. It'll save you some money."
Yeah, right.
We're getting some comments in here. And then this is from Heather Lee Avery. "Be sure to check out my dad's stone memorial monument on the 10th hole at Grassy Hill."
Nice.
Yeah, her father George Avery. He's a big softball player, I think, in Milford. And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, passed away a number of years ago. Yeah.
Gotcha. I think that's all we got tonight, guys. So, we can talk about baseball and the Miami Marlins basically ruining baseball for the entire country.
You know what? If it was going to happen, it was going to happen there. You can't deny the Miami nightlife, right?
That's true. That's true.
How can you blame it? It's not like they're playing in Cleveland.
Hey, you gotta get those chicken wings at the Gentleman's Club. It's the most important thing, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, we were talking about sports, the three of us before the show, and it's so I mean, the NFL, in the fact that these 90% of the college conferences have canceled football, except for the big ones that are making tens of millions of dollars off of, the Alabamas, the Notre Dames, these guys, even though Notre Dame is not even in a conference. But it's amazing that they're moving ahead as normal, and we're going to see some really interesting things, especially that football season when you're starting to back up into cold and flu season and cold weather, and it's going to be
a long winter. It's going to be a long winter if there's nothing to watch too.
I know. I don't know where I'm going to hunker down if we were told that we have to stay inside.
I think in Miami.
You guys want to go? Let's get a B&B on like an island somewhere for the winter.
Yeah, and then just have them try to kick us off.
Right. Bring it.
Yeah.
We'll cough on them.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, that's bad. Whatever.
Well,
All right, guys.
That's 2020 slogan right now.
It really is. It's like we've just given up on society and everything. But anyway, this was a great show. We would like to thank Chris Zach from the Milford Fire Department. That was an awesome interview. I highly suggest that you go out and like their Facebook page. It sounds like they're on Instagram and tweeting, and they're probably on Pinterest showing cool like origami things. So check them out on all social media. And we will see you next week. We're going to have a great guest. Don't know who it is, but we'll book it soon. We have cool things. Hopefully Bill Clinton will come on. He's still reaching out to him.
Yeah, still waiting for that response.
That's all right. Zeke, Heisa, we'll see you next week.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Milford. See ya.
Take care.